Hi everyone, this is Jed Schlackman, and in this video I'll be speaking about using our awareness and essentially viewing life from the perspective or vantage point of being a neutral witness. You might call this being in observer mode, where you're not immersed in a particular identity and attached to whatever particular beliefs and values are held by that identity. So this is bringing us more into a state of spiritual observation rather than relating to whatever's going on in our life from our human perspective or our human values and ideals. You might wonder why this would be beneficial. Well, one reason is that when we are immersed in our own identity, our own beliefs, our own values, our own biases, then we're filtering everything through that, and it's usually going to be a little more difficult for us to fully understand where someone else is coming from, to really recognize and appreciate what their vantage point or their perspective might be. Whether or not we share that or agree with it, it's harder to actually even understand it while we are immersed in our own values and beliefs, our own way of looking at life and what we consider good or bad or right or wrong and so on. So being a neutral witness does mean you're being neutral. You're not passing some form of judgment about what's right, what's wrong, what should or shouldn't be. You're just observing what is. So you're witnessing rather than judging or evaluating. You're just noticing what's present. And this is a skill that we can develop. Certainly we're not going to go through our whole day and live our whole life from that perspective. That's not what we're here for. But we can develop the skill of bringing ourselves into that state of awareness or that state of perceiving things so that we can apply it in situations where it's useful, so it can help us understand other people better, and also so it can help us process our own experience in a manner that helps us kind of let go of some of the traumas, some of the burdens, some of the emotional baggage that we've built up as a result of looking at life through our typical, more polarized or judgmental way of looking at things. If you consider any experience you've had in your life, in order for that experience to trigger some strong emotional reaction, you would have had to have viewed or responded to that, seeing it as either positive or negative, good or bad, right or wrong. So some part of you felt the need to either embrace or resist that experience. If we're in a neutral witness type of state, it's easier to just observe it without having to have any reaction, without seeing it as something wonderful or pleasant, without seeing it as something awful or unpleasant. We're just noticing it. That's something that's often not easy to do in our daily lives. There are situations where we need to respond and react to it. We can't just sit back and allow things to happen. So in the moment, you would often not want to be in that neutral witness state. You would need to be in your ordinary everyday identity so you could react or respond correspondingly or accordingly to whatever is happening in order to address your own beliefs, your own values, your own personal interests, and so on. Yet when we look back upon experiences, it might be easier to reflect on them from more of a neutral observer or witness type of state, since reflecting back toward the past, we don't have to react or do anything. We can just kind of reassess things, we can reprocess things, and we can actually release whatever emotion got built up, whatever physiological response got triggered. We can kind of let those pass through and let them go, since we don't have to be responding to that past reality anymore. We're free to liberate ourselves from that, so we're able to be really more present and less biased in our present experience from our reactions and filters that we've created from those past experiences. One simple way to go into more of a neutral witness state is to use what are referred to usually as mindfulness skills. With mindfulness, we are practicing just noticing whatever is present in the moment without getting caught up in it, attached to it, or immersed in it, without reacting to it, just noticing and observing what is. You can do that with your 5 senses, so you can bring your awareness to each of your senses, to your vision, to your hearing, to what you're touching, tasting, and smelling, and just noticing each of those. As you do that, you can realize in the current moment those things can all be present in your environment, and there's nothing you need to do to respond to them. You can just observe them. Most of the phenomenon in our external reality are like that. They're just present there, and there isn't a need to respond or react to them. It's only a minority, only a limited amount of phenomena that really require or demand our immediate attention, our immediate response or reaction. So we can kind of train and discipline ourselves to use mindfulness, to just be more present, to really look at life or whatever is in our surroundings from that point of view of being the neutral witness, of not being immersed in your human identity, at least for a moment. If you consider that every human being is unique, no two people are viewing reality exactly the same way. So we've all collected our own unique pattern or scheme of belief systems and values and so on. We may have a lot of shared beliefs, shared ideas with other people, but you won't find two people that are exactly the same. If you were to consider being in kind of a God consciousness state, that would be more of a state of being non-attached to all those individualized identities and being able to access more pure awareness, just witnessing and noticing everything that is unfolding in the limitless realities that are manifesting. That's kind of a difficult concept to grasp, to relate to be in that state of pure awareness, since we're spending virtually all of our time here in this human experience not being in that state, being immersed in our identity where we have our name, our physical body, our physical appearance, our families, our responsibilities and roles, our jobs, our desires, all of that So we're focused more on all of those things and acting in our everyday life according to those things. So we're meeting the needs of being a human being, whereas the creator consciousness, the pure awareness, isn't immersed in a physical body. It's not trying to survive. It doesn't need to seek out or obtain anything. It's just unconditionally unlimited in a sense in its endeavor to expand its awareness to manifest existence in a sense. So that would be a very abstract thing for us to relate to. We're more accustomed to dealing with this concrete reality, with caring for our personal needs, following our personal dreams, everything related to this individualized identity. And in a sense, we kind of coexist as both. So there's this small I having this human experience, and then there's the unlimited I, or I am, that people often refer to, which is that limitless creative essence. And one coexists with the other. It's an expression or an extension of the other. So we here in this human experience are an extension of that pure awareness that's put a limit upon itself to have this experience. And that's really the paradox of life, that we're having this limited experience even though our essence is unlimited. I hope that this short, brief discussion has given each of you a few things to reflect upon and provide something of practical value, something useful that you can apply as you navigate life, as you may focus on your personal healing process or any other area of life where these types of skills could be useful, could help you use your consciousness in a constructive and productive way. For now, I'd like to wish each of you a wonderful day. Namaste.